Hey everybody, and welcome back to the vlog. Hey everybody, we got another Roy story. Our boy Roy, not my boy Roy, that's for sure. Anyway, I just want to thank all you new subscribers that have been subscribing lately, and I ask all you guys that haven't, because there's a whole bunch of yous that haven't, just push the button. It would make me happy. Forget about me. What about my beautiful little 13-year-old daughter? You know, I'm just saying, it ain't gonna show who's boss. Stick it, poke it, do whatever you gotta do, and the like and whatever. Okay, so now this story is gonna be right around the time that I did the other video where I called out Roy and his stupid tag job. Okay, so now we're gonna like bump this up to the next level. Now, at this time, they were stealing cars, tagging cars, robbing cars for parts, doing all this stuff at Joey's make-believe body shop in South Jamaica, Queens. So, even stealing, unbolting car parts, putting them on other cars, that's still a lot of work. And why would you want to do all of that when I can register any car at that time? I can register any car, put it in my name, and I'm going to tell you what I did. So now that statement right there is so unbelievable, but it's true, and you're going to read all the newspaper articles on this. We got 3 newspaper articles from 71, 72, and 73. You're going to read all of these articles on how I found this out. Now, don't forget, I'm a car nut, and I know everything about cars. I know everything about tags. I know everything about registration and how to do this and how to do that, and bada bing, bada boom. I know how to do it. And just because I'm only 20 years old at this time don't mean that because you're 35 years old, Joey's 42 years old, you know better than me, because they don't. I was the car guru. I was a car guru. I was the hot rodder. I was the car guru. So let's go back to 1971, just before I went to prison. I met a couple of gypsies. And I noticed that these gypsies had Alabama plates. There was like 5 or 6 of them. They all had Alabama plates, and they all started off with the number 23, dash, Heart of Dixie, and the expiration date. So I go, hey dude, what's up with the Alabama plates? Now gypsies, as you guys probably know, and if you don't, these are, I think they're Romanian or something like that. They're from European, they're one of them European countries. And they go across the country, and they go from town to town, and basically ripping people off and doing all kinds of scams and stuff. That's what they're all about. So the guy was working on my car. He was fixing my 1969 GTX back in 1971. And I started talking with the guy, and I liked the guy, and we hit it off. We became friends. And when I asked him about why does everybody have Alabama plates, and he told me. And this is what he told me, and it sounds unbelievable, but when you read the articles, you're going to know that everything I'm saying is true. He says, we can call a probate judge in Andalusia, Alabama. We can call him on the phone. And we could say, we just bought 1972 Cadillac Eldorado convertible, VIN number, blah, 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 blah. And then for $30, I think the whole thing was 65 bucks. Then they would go, okay, this is how much it is, and wire a Western Union telegram, MoneyGram, I think it was called, right to the probate judge in Andalusia, Alabama. And then they would immediately send you the plate and the registration. Now, way back then, there was no title states. New York didn't become a title state until 1974, but back in this era, there were no titles. The registration was used to transfer ownership as well as prove you're the owner of the car, even in New York. So, of course, I didn't believe him. But then I tried it out. And sure enough, 2 days later, I got my 23 Skidoo license plate, Haunted Pixie, just like this. There's the plate right there. Is this the right side I'm pointing at?
Yeah.
This side? Okay, there it is. That's a New York State senator who found out about my little scam, and he registered a stolen car. That's how the plates come in. So you read the article. But back then, nobody knew about this. Nobody knew my little secret. So, wow. So now I have a registration. At that time, I had a 67 Pontiac Le Mans. So now I have the registration, even though it was already registered in New York. Now it's registered in Alabama. So all I had to do was re-register it. Since my car was registered in New York, once I got my Alabama plates and registration, I went to New Jersey and got Jersey plates with my car, my 67 Pontiac. So now let's talk about what I did next. So now I quickly realized that I can give Andalusia, Alabama, any VIN number, and they're gonna give me a registration. Good. So what did I do? I re-registered my car again in Alabama, and with the VIN. Now the VIN number on my car, let's just say, was 12345. So I sent them down more money on a VIN number 12346. One number off. Put the car in the bylines, real cheap. I think it was $1,200 at that time, and I got a sale right away. So what I would tell the owner when I met him on the street was the bylines. There was a paper called the bylines back then, where you could put your car up for sale, and they would categorize it in Bronx County, Queens County, Suffolk, Nassau County, and so you could target where you wanted to sell the car, and I did. So what I would do is, once the guy wanted to buy the car, I would say, okay, I can't give you the car now. Give me your address. I'll come to your house, and I'll give you I'll give you a bill of sale and the registration, and we'll be done. So now the car's got New Jersey plates on it, and it's legit in New Jersey, because I couldn't register it in New York because it was already registered in New York. So now I sell him the car. I drive up there. He gives me, I think it was $1,500 or $1,200. Gives me the money, and now he's good. Did a lot of chit-chatting with the guy, found out where he worked, what he does, where he lived. The car was parked on the street, no problem. So I'd let him keep that car for 2 weeks. Make sure he insured it. I'd come back 2 weeks later, my spare set of keys, start the car up, and take my car back. Now, when he shows the registration to the police, and he reports that car stolen, he's reporting VIN number 12346 stolen. Not the real VIN number, 12345. So this was unbelievable. So now, fast forward 2 years later, I'm working for Joey. This guy, Roy DeMeo hates me. He's really mad at me because if you look at this video here, look at this video. I just called him out for doing the worst tag job I've ever saw. And if you look at that video, for you guys that have already seen it, you're gonna see he put pop rivets in the thing. So he's gonna get caught. So anyway, so I made him look real bad. And then I wound up stealing Nino Gadget's car because so it's a big, you guys got, another thing, you guys, listen, if you guys, I have about 100 videos, and if you guys are only watching the new ones that come out, try looking at the old ones. There's a lot of great stories over there. Well, let me get back to this. So now here I go. So now I forget what they were talking. I go into the office. Roy and Joey are talking tag jobs, this, that, and the other thing. So I say to him like this, knowing this is gonna, I told him an unbelievable story. Knowing that Roy would say, there he is, he's an asshole. This guy's an asshole. This guy's an idiot. He's an idiot. So I'm sucking him in now. I'm 20 years old, Roy's 35, 36 years old at that time, and I'm just sucking him in. I'm sucking him in. So I said, listen, Joey, instead of doing all that stuff, taking cars apart and everything, I have a hook. Now, I don't tell him anything about Alabama. I'm not telling them nothing about Alabama. I got a hook. I can register in New York any car. In fact, I can even register your car, Roy. I can put your car in my name. That's what I can do. I can do any car, and then all we got to do is either insure it, theft it out, sell it with one number off, and I tell him the whole deal. Roy is like in my face going, I don't have time for you, and he's going up to Joey. Do you believe any of this? I said, hey, Joey, I'll tell you what. You know that car in the back, you know, the one that we use as an example to show Roy his mistake about using a pop rivet instead of a Rosetta rivet? What if I told you I can register that car in my name? He goes, so Roy goes, you're full of shit, you're fucking, if I can't, hey, I know I got hooks in DMV, I got hooks in the police department, nobody can do that. I says, I can do it. And if you could do it, then why didn't you just telling us now? Well, I'm listening to this story here that you're going through all of these trials and tribulations with this car and how you're going to do this. When all you can do is, I got the hook, I can do it. So Roy bets free. So Roy's calling me a liar. I'm full of shit. I said, why don't you put your money where your mouth is? Well, I'll bet you $100 in a week I can have that car registered in my name. So now even Joey's not believing it. He's shaking his head. I said, and then Roy's calling me full of shit. And Roy goes, Joey goes, okay, well, if you think he's full of shit, take his bet. Bet, Roy? Bet $100. That car's going to be in my name. You want to bet? He goes, you're on. So I immediately get the VIN number down, call the Andalusia probate judge. Bang, I send him $65. That's what it was. $65 with a Western Union MoneyGram. Bang. 2 days later, bang, I got the Alabama plates and registration. But I do not want to tell Joey, and I do not want to tell Roy. So what did I do? I took that Alabama registration, flipped it in New York, and then came in to work with the damn plates under my name. And Roy didn't believe it. Even though the registration, the 2 license plates were there he goes, that's bullshit. I said, just pay me my money. I don't believe it. I said, you see it right here. Anybody can get plates and write up a phony registration. That's what he said. I said, hey, bro, you just got done telling me you got all kinds of hooks in the police department. Run the plate number. And I throw the plates at him. Run the plate number and see what it comes back to. He goes, I'm going to do just that. Picks up the phone. Hour later, now Joey answers the phone, and it's his boyfriend, it's his crooked cop. And he goes, here. And he goes, give me the registered owner. And he says, Kevin Maher, 239 East Missoula Parkway, Bronx, New York, 1972, whatever it was, Dodge Dart. It's mine. So now I got Joey Bikini. How did you do that? Now he's going, what did you do? And I said, first of all, I'm not talking to you no more, Roy. You got my $100? You got my $100? Give me my $100. And he didn't even have $100. Give me my $100. Give it. I don't know. And he keeps telling. And now Roy's getting my fat. I gotta know. You gotta tell me I gotta know before I get myself involved with anything like something that I don't understand. You gotta tell me everything. I'm not telling you shit. Joey, I'll talk to you later on. And I turned around and walked out. So now, let me tell you all the things that you can do once you have the power to register any car. For example, if you went out and bought a brand new Cadillac and you finance it, there would be a lien on it. But not with I could register the car in another name in another state and bango. And don't forget, when Alabama gives me that registration, that's good all 50 states. I can go any state and re-register that car. So, where was I? So Roy keeps going, I'm not getting in business with you unless you tell me. I'm not telling you shit. And Joey, I'll talk to you, and I wind up leaving. So you can register cars that were financed. You can just simply register the car, insure the car, and back then they didn't do pictures or nothing like that. Insure the car, wait a couple of months, report it stolen, and get a check for a car that never even existed. So there was a whole bunch of stuff. So once Joey found out I could do this, when I left, he called me when I got home, and he says, this is unbelievable. He says, so I don't have to. So I said, your car lot, or, you know, and then I started telling him, you know, you can have a car on your lot, sell it in Nassau County. We take it back, we put it back on. No one would ever know. We make one digit, or we turn an L into a 1. And people think, it's just a typo, and that's it. And the car is not stolen. It's not stolen. It cannot be reported. The right serial number cannot be reported stolen. So anyway, I got a part 2 of this. If you guys like this story, I got part 2. And check out the article. So after, like, in 72 and 73, then law enforcement started to figure out that the Alabama thing, because the law enforcement started doing investigations, registering stolen cars. And then Governor Wallace at the time was the governor of Alabama, and they tried to get him to stop it, but they couldn't, because the probate, they just couldn't. They couldn't. So what they would do is, when you called in, they would give you an address. It would be Route 1, Andalusia, Alabama. And then one of the investigators looked up Route 1 and found out that it was a small route and that 600 people lived there. Well, then they did their investigation and found out that 2,200 people registered cars from Alabama, and the address was Route 1, Andalusia, Alabama. So it was kind of funny. But this just now, once I did this, Roy hated me even more, because he called me out, and I proved him to be a liar. When he picked up that phone and that cop read off what he was seeing on the teletype, and if that car belonged to me, he couldn't believe it. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Pick up a copy of my book, Cop Without a Badge, available on Amazon, and get to know me. Get to know what really went on behind the scenes with Roy DeMeo. All these other channels, all they do is rehash Roy DeMeo stories that everybody knows, but this channel is the only channel that you can get Roy stories that have never been heard before.